Hello friends, welcome back to Learning Nails and Aesthetics. We are in the Milady Nails book, Chapter 4, starting on page 102. We will be going to page 111. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Also check out my other videos, the Milady Foundations book, as well as the Milady Aesthetics book. And don't forget, I am not AI, so mistakes will be made. You can just laugh along with me. Don't click away. We'll get through this together. And I think my reading has gotten a lot better since the first videos that I did. So here we go. Describe the factors that affect nail growth. The growth of the nail plate is affected by nutrition, exercise, and a person's general health. A normal nail plate grows forward from the matrix and extends over the tip of the finger. Normal, healthy nail plates can grow in a variety of shapes depending on the shape of the matrix. The length, width, and curvature of the matrix determines the thickness, width, and curvature of the nail plate. For example, a longer matrix produces a thicker nail plate, and a highly curved matrix creates a highly curved free edge. Nothing can make the nail plate grow thicker. This would require the size of the matrix to grow larger. However, regular manicures, good nutrition, and keeping the cuticles moisturized help in maintaining healthy nails. The average rate of the nail plate growth in the normal adult is about 1/10 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch, which is 2.5 millimeters to 3 millimeters per month. Nail plates grow faster in the summer than they do in the winter. Children's nails grow more rapidly, while elderly people's grow at a slower rate. The nail of the middle finger grows the fastest. The thumbnail grows the slowest. Nail growth rates increase dramatically during the last trimester of pregnancy because of hormonal changes in the body. The nail growth rate decreases dramatically and returns to normal after the delivery of the baby. It is a myth that nail growth is caused by taking prenatal care vitamins. Nail growth rates will accelerate whether or not a woman takes these vitamins. Although toenail plates grow more slowly than fingernail plates, they are thicker because the toenail matrix is longer than the matrix found on the fingernails. Figure 4-2 shows various shapes of nails. Acorn, flat, arched, roofed, trapezoid, olive, date, concave, convex, square, angular, narrow, fan, circumflex, arched, and tubular. Nail plate malformation. The plate will continue to grow as long as the matrix is healthy and undamaged. However, the shape of thickness of the nail plate can change because the damage or infection to the matrix. Ordinarily, complete replacement of the nail plate takes about 4 to 6 months. Toenail plate takes 9 months to 1 year to be fully replaced. Hair sheds automatically or periodically, but nail plates do not. The nail matrix is consistently creating new nail cells. Each time a new cell is created, it pushes the previously created cells upward and away from the matrix. This causes the plate to flow slowly towards the free edge, but only as quickly as new cells are produced. If nail cells are produced faster, the plate will grow more quickly. The reverse is also true. If a small portion of the matrix stops making new cells, the nail plate will become thinner and develop a narrow groove. As a normal part of the aging process, parts of the nail matrix begin to permanently slow down production. causing the plate to develop a series of narrow grooves running down the length of the nail plate. Figure 4-3, the appearance of narrow grooves in the nail plate are normal signs of aging. There's a photograph of that if you're just listening. These grooves are often mistaken for ridges. The matrix does not grow any ridges in the nail plate, only grooves. Never file these so-called ridges, as this will thin and weaken the entire nail plate. Check in. Why does the nail matrix produce grooves rather than ridges in the nail plate? Activity. Learn to identify an unhealthy nail. Look at the hands and feet of several friends, family members. Take photos of anything that looks unhealthy. Discuss these with your teacher and class and compare photos. Discuss which nails can or cannot be safely worked on in a salon. Identify unhealthy conditions of the nail. When you receive your license, you will be licensed to perform beauty and cosmetic services on consumers that beautify and enhance their appearance. You are not licensed to diagnose, treat, or prescribe. That constitutes medical practice and cannot be carried out by a nail technician. You must identify whether a client has an unhealthy condition that precludes them from receiving services in a salon. However, you cannot tell a client that they have a specific disease or disorder. This is diagnosing, and you cannot do it. Never diagnose, treat, or work on unhealthy skin or nails without written permission from a licensed physician in your state. I cannot stress this enough. Do not ever tell a client that they have this or that, fill in the blank. I mean, if you tell them, yeah, you have a hangnail, that's one thing. But an actual condition, which we're going to go through here in a minute, do not do it. You can get in legal trouble. Not just lose your license. Nail disorders. A nail disorder is an unhealthy condition of the nail that is either hereditary or caused by injury or disease of the nail unit. Table 4-1. Most, if not all, of your clients have experienced a common nail disorder at some time in their lives. You may be able to help your client with nail disorders in one or two ways. You can tell them that you have observed what may be an unhealthy condition and refer them to a physician. Alternatively, you can improve the appearance of certain conditions if the problem is cosmetic and not a medical condition or disorder. Like I gave the example of a hangnail. That is not a medical condition. That is a cosmetic condition. Now, if the hangnail is infected, any kind of discoloration or pus, that's totally different. Continuing. It is your professional responsibility and requirement of your license to know which option to choose. A client whose nail or skin is infected, inflamed, broken, or swollen should not receive salon services. This includes ingrown toenails. You must refuse service and refer that client to a physician. Remember that your license does not allow you to diagnose or treat any disease or disorder. It is vital that you can identify the differences between healthy skin and nails and unhealthy conditions of skin and nails. The following overview is a list of the most frequently encountered disorders in salon clients and is not to be used to diagnose. Knowing how to identify the existence of unhealthy conditions will vastly improve your expertise in caring for nails. You should protect your clients by using sanitary practices and encouraging them to seek medical attention for an unhealthy condition. Identifying if a client has an unhealthy condition, whether it is an infection, a disease, or disorder, is vital to providing safe salon services. It is important to remember that you are only permitted to perform services within the scope of your license that beautify and enhance the appearance of an individual. This can only take place in licensed salons. Did you know? Nobody can expand the scope of practice of your license set by law, not even a doctor. Clients cannot sign a waiver or verbally give a nail technician permission to disobey licensing laws and work on a diseased or infected finger or toenail. Now, Table 4-1, Overview of Nail Disorders. This does have pictures, so if you're just listening, it is a good idea to pause the video or rewatch it later so you can see these pictures. Starting with disorder, Bow's lines, depressions running across the width of the nail plate due to a slowing production of matrix cells, which causes the nail plate to go thinner, usually the result of a serious illness or injury. Bruised nail bed, dark purple spots, usually due to a small injury in the nail bed. This condition can usually be covered with nail polish or camouflaged with an opaque nail enhancement product. Discolored nail. Nails turn a variety of colors. This may indicate surface staining, a systemic disorder, or poor blood circulation. Eggshell nail. Noticeably thin, white nail plate is more flexible than normal. This is usually caused by improper diet, heredity, internal diseases, medication, or by filing with an abrasive. We're going to overfill it. Continuing, Table 4-1 on page 106. Hangnail. Damaged skin around the nail plate, often on the eponychium, becomes split or torn. Hangnails can be successfully trimmed, provided the living skin is not cut or torn in the process. Infected finger. Visible redness, pain, swelling, broken skin or pus. Refuse nail service. Medical referral required. Leukonychia. Whitish spots of discolorization of the nails, usually caused by minor injury to the nail matrix. They often appear in the nails but do not indicate disease and will disappear as the nails grow. Melanychia. Significant darkening of the fingernails or toenails caused by increased pigment cells, melanocytes, visible as either a black band extending from the base to the free edge or may affect the entire nail plate. Fairly common in African Americans or Asians. However, in Caucasians, it could be an indicator of disease. Nail psoriasis. Nail surface pitting, roughness, onychlosis, and bed discolorations, either randomly or evenly spaced. The nail plate may appear as if it has been filed with a coarse abrasive, or the free edge may be ragged, or both. Nail pterygium. Abnormal stretching of the eponychium or hyponychium around the nail plate, usually from serious injury or an allergic skin reaction. Creams or conditioning oils may be helpful. However, never attempt to treat or push back nail pterygium. I'm probably saying that wrong. Pterygium. With an instrument. Onychophagia. Bitten nails. Frequent manicures and proper care of the hands can often help to overcome this habit. Hyponychium. Oh no. Abnormal split of brutal nails. Brutal. Maybe I needed 2 coffees and not just one. Abnormal split of brittle nails appearing as surface roughness on the nail plate. Potential causes are heredity, injury to the matrix, excessive exposure to cuticle removers, harsh cleaning agents, or aggressive filing techniques. Pincer nails, also known as trumpet nails, a form of dramatically increased nail curvature of the free edge. The nail can curl in upon itself or may be deformed only on the side wall. Extreme or unusual cases or painful conditions must be referred to a doctor. Using a brace-type product to strengthen these nails is medical practice and cannot be performed in a salon. Plicacord nail, also known as a folded nail. A highly curved nail plate, often caused by injury to the matrix, which may be inherited, often lead to ingrown nails. Rigid nail, lengthwise grooves in the plate, often mistaken for ridges, seen in normal aging. Splinter hemorrhage, a damage to the capillaries under the nail. Give the appearance of a lengthwise small splinter underneath the nail plate, caused by physical trauma or injury to the nail bed. Nail infections. Proper cleaning and disinfecting reduces the risk of spreading nail infections. From client to client, never take shortcuts for cleaning and disinfecting procedures. If you repeatedly encounter nail infections on your client's nails, you should re-examine your cleaning, disinfection, preparation, and application techniques. Always mix disinfectants according to the product label, and remember to change the solution every day. Clean and properly disinfect all metal and reusable implements and dispose of single-use items such as buffers, nail files, and wooden pusher sticks. Use a clean towel for each service and be sure to clean the table surface before and after each procedure. That is a lot of information in the Milady Foundations book, which I have videos on, that goes into more detail of that kind of thing. Activity, pedicure bowl disinfection. Take photos of the labels of several different brands of EPA-registered disinfectant bottles. Write down how much product and water to mix in order to get a correct dilution. Figure out how much water the pedicure basin at your school holds. The number preceding the colon is the number of ounces you need of the product. The number following the colon is how much water to mix with it. Calculate how much disinfectant must be put in the basin after every pedicure and see which product is the least expensive to use. Diseases of the nail. You may come across any of several nail diseases in the salon. Any nail condition or disease that shows signs of infection or inflammation, broken skin, redness, pain, swelling, or pus should not be diagnosed or treated in the salon. You should never provide any type of nail services to clients with a nail infection. It is vital that you can identify whether there is an unhealthy condition on a client's nail. A brief summary of diseases is found below in Table 4-2. Onycholasis. Separation of the nail plate in bed, often due to injury or allergic reactions. When the cause is removed, the area will slowly begin to heal. Medical referral is required. Onychocryptosis, ingrown nails on either hands or feet, wherein the nail grows into the sides of the tissue around the nail. Medical referral is required. Onychomadesis, separation and falling off of the nail plate from the nail bed in either fingernails or toenails, can be caused by infection, injury to the matrix, a systemic illness, or a medical procedure such as chemotherapy. Medical referral or required. Before I started this table, I failed to say that there are actual pictures, so if you're just listening, again, it's a good idea to look at these pictures. Aren't these fun words? Onychomycosis. Fungal infection of the nail plate consists of whitish patches that can be scraped off the surface of the nail, or as long whitish or pale yellowish streaks within the nail plate. A third common form causes the free edge of the nail to crumble and may even affect the entire plate. Often invades the free edge and spreads towards the matrix. Medical referral required. Onychosis. Eponychium is an inflammation of the matrix and shredding of the nail caused by infection or injury. Possible medical referral required. Perinychium, bacterial said that wrong. Perinychia. Bacterial inflammation of the tissues around the nail plate, causing pus, swelling, and redness, often seen in dry or chapped hands from excessive exposure to water and detergents. Medical referral required. Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Wow. Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Definitely one to work on right there. Rapidly growing and contagious bacteria that can cause an infection. Seen in the early stages as a yellow-green spot that becomes darker in its advanced stage, changing from yellow to green to brown to black. Medical referral required. Pyrogenic granulosum. Severe inflammation of the nail in which a lump of red tissue grows up from the nail bed to the nail plate. Medical referral required. I've got to be saying that wrong because it can't be pyrogenic. There's not flames shooting out of your nails. It's just, it's what it says, pyrogenic. I guess they're just referring to the coloration. As it said, it was red tissue. And, red flames. So why not? Got to make some fun words. Well, I guess that wouldn't really be fun, would it? Continuing. Tinea pedis. Medical term for fungal infection of the feet, also known as athlete's foot, seen as red patches or scaling of the skin on the bottom of the feet and or between the toes, can be spread by dirty tools and equipment. Medical referral required. A variety of nail infections develop more readily in people whose occupations require them to regularly place their hands in harsh cleaning solutions. Natural oils are removed from the skin by frequent exposure to soaps, solvents, and many other types of substances. The nail technician's hands are exposed daily to professional products. These products should be used according to manufacturer's instructions to ensure that they are being used safely. If those instructions or warnings tell you to avoid skin contact, you should follow such advice. If the manufacturer recommends that you wear gloves, make sure that you do so to protect your skin. Nitrile gloves are recommended, as these are less likely to cause allergic reaction than latex or rubber gloves. Contact the product's manufacturer if you are not sure how to safely handle and use the product, and obtain the safety data sheets, SDS. Everything that you do before, during, and after salon services is to reduce the risk of infection and injury to clients. This is why it is important to properly clean and disinfect your tools and equipment, as well as not work on unhealthy conditions or infected skin or nails. Intact, healthy skin is an effective barrier to infection. When the skin's broken or cut, germs can enter the body and cause infection. Check in. Define nail disorder. If a client comes in with a nail disease or infection, what should you do? Why is it important that clients' skin be intact on their hands or feet when receiving nail services? Why is it important to wear gloves when handling chemicals or nail products in the salon? These are a lot of good questions, and I will be making videos in all 3 of the books answering these questions. We'll do a Q&A. Also, a person can come in and have a small cut anywhere on them, really. And if, say, for example, like they have a boo-boo on their knee, and you're giving them a pedicure, the water can actually splash up into that. I mean, I'm sure you're not, going all willy-nilly crazy with the water, but it can happen, and it only takes a teeny tiny cell for an infection. So if that pedicure bowl is not properly clean, they can get that infection through that broken skin, even if it's not on an area that you're actually working on. So just keep that in mind as well. Always a good idea to cover any open wound, scratch, even minimal. Also, I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, but if they had a scab on their knee and maybe they're picking at it, or maybe it's just falling off and it falls into that pedicure bowl. Now, I'm not too sure if that could spread some infection, like if they had some, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I might be overthinking it, but again, if you clean that pedicure bowl properly, then it's fine. So yeah, be clean. Get back to work. Outline the scope of practice for your license related to nail structure disorders and diseases. Activity, research your scope of practice. Perform an internet search for the scope of practice for your license. This is found in your state's cosmetology laws or statutes under definitions. Definitions specifically list what is allowed for that license and only what is allowed for cosmetic or beauty purposes. Cosmetic product and procedures, beauty and enhance the appearance of an individual, whereas medical devices, practices, and drugs affect the body. If a procedure or process is not listed under the definition for your license, you cannot do it. Laws are set by the legislature and determine the scope of practice for each license offered within that state. Laws or statute also set guidelines for regulatory agencies and boards to make rules. Nail technicians are governed under cosmetology, so you will find the definition of nail technology under cosmetology laws. The scope of practice is found under definitions and specifically lists what each license allows the holder to do. For instance, nail technicians cannot remove hair by waxing in most states with this license. Just because a device or procedure is not specifically prohibited, that does not mean it is okay to use or perform. The definition of each license clearly states what can be done with the license, and those are the only, that word is italicized, so I have to say it like that, only practices that are permitted within the state. Beauty services and cosmetics enhance the appearance of an individual, while medical practices, medical devices, and drugs affect the body. There's a clause in cosmetology law that states that unless otherwise licensed, no one licensed under cosmetology, including nail technicians, can perform any act listed in any other licensed definition in the state. This means that if a procedure or practice is listed under any medical license or podiatry license, it is prohibited. Check in. Who is the governing body of your state? And that'll do it for this video. We will continue in the next video in the Milady Nail book, Nail Structures, Disorders, and Diseases. This was pages 102 to 111. The next section is the glossary. That's always fun. Oh, I forgot to do competency progress. So my little tab here, I put it in the wrong spot. It goes right here. So let's do that. Competency progress. How are you doing with nail structure, disorders, and diseases? Check the Chapter 4 learning objectives below that you feel you have mastered. Leave unchecked these objectives you will need to return to. Explain why you should learn about nail structure, disorders, and diseases. Define the natural nail unit. Label the structure of the nail. Describe the factors that affect nail growth. Identify unhealthy conditions of the nail. Outline the scope of practice for your license related to nail structure, disorders, and diseases. And the next video will be the glossary. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was helpful to you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.